Sometimes life lets you down and you feel that you are done. You just want a morning run because the fun is all gone. But sometimes life makes you proud when you look far and wide, when you leave the pain behind and see the brighter side. TNC gives you inspiration. TNC reignites your passion. TNC starts your transformation. TNC helps you see the new you.
The new channel. The new channel. The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following show are those of the hosts, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon. Welcome to TNC, the new channel, here to help you see the new you. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, your host to this wonderful program, the HR Hotline. Welcome back to the HR Hotline. I was just looking at the comments box. Hello, Ami. Ami was my former secretary, and up to now she's very beautiful. I would like to, for those who are viewing right now, it would be nice if you can post where you are, so that we will know your the places of the viewers at this time. This is a wonderful episode. Our topic for today is actually leadership in the new normal. Will there be a new normal? That is the question. Is the new normal starting now? I know that there was that thought on the fear zone. It should have been February or March. Then the learning zone, maybe around April and May. So it has been 4 months, 5 months. So at this time, we should be in the growth zone. When we are in that growth mindset, what we need are actually radical leaders. Leaders that must be resilient first because you have undergone the challenges of the pandemic, but agile enough to already be doing transition, aspirational and visionary enough to already think of what will be the brand new world. Just like in the song, A Brand New World. But when shall we do it? This is HR Hotline. So, in particular, what is the role of HR? How can HR support management, influence management, take care of the people, and lead the people into that growth mindset? What competencies should leaders have? Of course, the fundamentals, the qualities that we had pre-COVID should still be there, but we must, I think, hone and acquire new competencies for us to be able to lead the human resources, our employees. So I can just remember the original leadership concept of our executive producer Lloyd Luna on step back leadership. That can be one. Or the servant leadership, or the Filipino behavioral concept of malasakit, pakikipagkapwa. But at this time, yes, we have to go back to this concept. But consider now the future. We must be able to shape. COVID shaped our lives today. It shifted our mode, it shifted our working arrangements, which is why I'm not in a live stream. But at this time, after the fear, after the learning zones, you must already be in the growth zone that we must be able to shape our future. So for L&D professionals, think of ways, foresee what is the future. For HR, start to intervene on what will be the culture. And the topic for today for leaders, make sure you have to acquire the competencies of the 21st century industrial revolution, which includes agility, resilience, global mindset, and everything to be able to lead your organization to the brand new world. At this time, I have to introduce our special guest. He's a dear friend. I We met a decade ago in the People Management Association of the Philippines. And I have that, what do you call this, talent acquisition eye, the clinical eye. Maybe because I started with Overseas Employment Development Board as a recruiter. I was a management assistant in the morning, and in the afternoon we were doing interviews. And I had lots of training on even even if I see your nails or your ears or the way you part your hair, I already have that. Although it's not nice that we have to be judgmental, but I already have that competency based um, interview requirements that I can now glean, measure who you are. The reason why I mentioned that because that was the time that when I met our special guest, with just one look, I know at that time that this person is a person of substance, is a person that has potential, and is a person that will grow. He is a graduate, scholar ng bayan from UP. And he is a fellow in people management. He is a loving father, I know that. A wonderful daughter who is actually so savvy with, we'll ask him about that, with artificial intelligence. Then a hard worker, because he rose from the ranks. He's very active with the People Management Association of the Philippines, and he's a mentor. He's a mentor. But most of all, he's a friend. He's a friend because, just like with Lloyd Luna, rarely that I talk on the level with people younger than myself, and sometimes I listen to this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the General Manager of Human Resources in Nissan, my dear friend Ericson del Castillo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon,
Thank
Jesse.
you, thank you for being with us. Where are you now, Eric?
I'm here at the Nissan headquarters in BGC, and I'd like to thank you, Jesse, for inviting me to join your very popular program. Thank you for the kind words.
Yes, there are a lot of people watching us. Carlo Tamayao, the son of Bong, is watching us. PP Obet is also watching us.
Wow,
And
thank you.
Ami, okay. Um, um, you are in the office. Just a question. What about the health protocols? Are you abiding with the health protocols of DTI and DOLE?
Oh, yes. Thank you for that question, Jesse. Yes, of course. We're very compliant. Uh, um, from the very beginning, when we started working back on May 18, we took note of the DTI Dole rules, and when they did revise recently, we did try to comply again. Of course, we do have to comply with these government regulations for our employees' safety.
Let us be clear. Nissan here is not, you don't manufacture or you don't assemble. Am I right?
Yes, not in the Philippines, but we do have a third-party provider in the Philippines that does for our one of our models, but we
Oh,
don't manufacture locally in general.
so what do you do here? You are just marketing. You are a marketing organization.
Marketing, distribution, sales, marketing, and distribution. But we do have a network of about 45 dealers, Philippine-wide, and they do help us distribute our product. It's
How,
independent
how,
owned.
how strong is your human resource, Eric, now? How big? How many are you?
How strong are HR in Nissan? Yes, we're very strong, and we're actually leading. We're part of the Asia group of Nissan, and we're trying to do our best in order to be able to provide the best for our people. We're aiming to be a great place to work, Jesse.
Yeah. How many are you in Nisa now? The number of,
Nissan,
yes,
number of employees were 130.
130. And they're here
Yes.
in Manila, or are you spread across the country?
No, we're all based here at the head office. But of course, right now, we only have 20% of our headcount reporting to office.
So the question is, how is Nissan? How is the organization? How are you faring at this time?
Okay. Just like any other businesses in the country, we're, of course, affected by this global pandemic. But we're competing strongly. In June, July, we did well. We're number three. automotive brand in the country. We're ranked number three amongst various automotive brands. So we're an agile organization and we're trying our best to provide the best for our customers.
I see. So
Yeah.
let's go now to our topic for the day. The first question, what are your thoughts? Is there going to be a better normal? Pardon my
Yes.
asking the question.
Yeah. Better normal. Yes, that's true. We may not have it right away, as mentioned by the World Health Organization recently. This pandemic may take us 2 years more, and it will be all up to us, Jesse, how to make a better normal, because it's actually our contribution to the environment, our contribution to this community that we have. And it will all, of course, depend on how we will prepare ourselves, our organization, and the country towards that direction. And the better normal will actually be up to us. Are we contributing in ensuring that we have that we're taking care of the environment? We all know what happened, why this all started. When some people actually had challenged the wilds, actually the in China, when they were saying that it could have come from wild animals. And so we must take care of the environment. We must take care of our future. It will all depend actually upon us.
So, so what do you mean that the new normal will be coming, but it is evolving. So every time that there is a situation, you feel that it is normal, and if there is another that one is coming, then you have to adjust to the another normal. Is that what you're telling us, Eric?
Well, yes, but as I was saying, it will all depend on us, Jesse, how we are contributing in our environment, how we are taking care of Mother Earth, how we are taking care of our fellow men. As I mentioned earlier, this pandemic would not have happened if we did not challenge the environment. As we all know,
Wow.
all these
Yes.
things are happening because of our indiscretion. And I would say that if we only took care of this environment that we have, this Mother Earth, then we would have avoided this global phenomenon.
I like your thought, Eric. Everybody is actually looking into work from home. Everybody is looking into the business continuity. But what a nice insight where it all started, how we treated our environment. So I think, what wonderful thought for us to start for the brand new new world or for the new normal is we really have to go back on how we deal with the environment.
Well,
Wonderful.
exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Jesse. It's basic, and if we only took care of our environment, we would have avoided having to go through all these difficulties and challenges that's causing a lot of turmoil, chaos around the world. And now, when we talk about the better normal, then we have to look at how are we going to look after our Mother Earth in the future. And those things are, of course, will depend on us, you,
Yes.
Jesse, myself, Eric, and all the rest. If we
Yes, yes.
only have a contribution to that, then we will be able to come about or bring about change and the better normal.
Mine is very personal. Actually, I'm not using anymore my aircon because we are advised that there should be ventilation. So at night, my windows are open. And yeah, I do always every other day the steam bath. And I went around looking for oregano because I've seen that. So it's so I planted one in my garden. Just imagine for the longest time I don't have oregano in my garden. I have lots of plants from Monstera to all those expensive ones. But I forgot to plant oregano. And then last night I used it, and it really, you see how you can, my esophagus, my lungs are clear. So this is very personal, but I get it from you that
Yeah,
yes, we have to start from where it started, re, reboot, and then that is the
exactly.
environment, and then that is the environment. So the next question is how and when should HR act and foresee what is coming? How muna and then when?
Okay, I'd like to share about my experience in Nissan, and you ask how and when, and of course, very important as HR, we have to be proactive. 5 years ago, we we did not talk about pandemic yet. We were already practicing. We have already set up our work from home policy in Nissan Philippines, and so our employees are used to working from home. Although it's not that it's not that popular yet in Nissan, but it's already in our policies. I would say that just about probably 5% of our employees are practicing work from home before the pandemic. But what's good about it is we have prepared the organization way before the pandemic occurred. That's why when we had to shift to this new normal back on March, March 17, we were already prepared because we had the policy already, and we were very proactive. Our IT infrastructure are well prepared as well. We have all the systems, our processes. Although it was not totally ready at the time, but we are actually prepared to face the challenges of the pandemic. And so during the lockdown, all our employees were into work from home, virtual work, and little did we get complaints. Although of course, there were some challenges in terms of connectivity and all those things, but otherwise, we were able to seamlessly uh, support the needs of our employees at the time. So I'm happy to say that Nissan Philippines has been prepared long before. We were very proactive, and I think that's the current requirement that we must have as HR leaders. We have to be proactive. We have to be prepared. We have to ensure that all these business continuity plans are well in place. And gladly, we had all those things, although not as complete as what we expect, but at least we have the foundation, we have the basic policies and systems and processes.
Yes, yes. I agree. I agree, Eric. Because um, in the dialect, Nizan or you as the head of HR, yung sinasabing advance ka mag-isip. The Telecommuting Act was actually in 2018. So at that time, it
Yeah,
was already advised that you must have already policies and guidelines on how to work telecommuting. Then also, I learned this from Ophel, a friend of mine in the BPO, that the use of the Zoom, the use of the Google Meet, the use of WebEx, all of this virtual, they have been there 5 years ago. So you must have tried it.
yeah,
Even Team Up, I experienced a webinar pre-COVID, months before COVID. So yes, I agree that you have to be proactive and prepared. And at this time, after 5 months, you must not be in a quandary anymore. You must already have
exactly.
done exactly. Yun na nga. So
You know,
yeah, the question is when. It should have been it should have been yesterday. Yeah. And then when, as it comes, you must be doing this. So thank you for that insight. That of the environment and that of that you must always be ready. So I think this is just right. Because thinking of what we will foresee in the future, we must be doing it right now. So how will
exactly.
we transition and evolve to be the stewards of the new world. How will leaders transition? Can you share
Well,
with
it is
us?
okay. One thing that we don't see right now, Jesse, is we're very focused about competencies, but there are other things that we should look for. We should look for the character and commitment of our people. Right now, we understand that we need technical competencies, yes, but we must understand that there are soft skills that leaders must possess. Competence behaviors, I would say, such as compassion, empathy, and respect. These things will definitely make sure that all your plans will see you through. It's very important that we understand people's needs during this time. I know that leadership agility, resiliency, navigating the business amidst uncertainties, strategic thinking, strategic planning. These are all requirements for a radical leader. But do you have compassion? Do you have empathy? You know, people right now are having challenges. Uh, they are experiencing a lot of anxieties, difficulties, and so for leaders, we have to practice some of these behaviors in order to transition better our organization into the better normal. I agree. Yes, we need the technical competencies, the hardcore competencies, but we should also have the soft skills, Jesse,
We'll
so
discuss
that
more,
can help.
we'll discuss more on that balance after our first break in this episode. Wonderful,
Okay.
Eric. Wonderful. Okay. Don't leave us because we're going to ask Eric how to balance the soft and the hard skills. Okay. So let's wonderful conversations on leadership requirements for the new normal. But I still have to read some announcements. Can I have it now? Yes. Uh, these are the shows in the TNC, and I urge you to be tuned in to the new channel. We have the big picture from Mondays to Fridays. You are my life state, and that is the HR hotline. The family business on Saturdays at 4 p.m. The fourth project at Wednesdays and Saturdays. And then we have the Usapang Beauty on Thursdays and Saturdays. You turn a very inspirational light show with my friend Carmine. And it's time that you must have your real estate buy home buyer by Dante Salamat. And if you want some fun, and he's actually watching us, watch the puppet stories of One Blue. Then we have the marketplace at Thursdays and Fridays. Then YOLO on Mondays and Thursdays. The Talk on Mondays. It's a nice show. The host is a friend of mine, Mr. Dennis Calamba. Then we have Chino and Tricia's After Shift. And then the Win Within of Coach Erwin, the Town Hall, and One Day. So we're giving you not only an option, not only an alternative. You must be with us because this is now the new normal to be in the new channel. Okay, okay, I like that. I'm so live in our live streaming. I like what I just said. The new normal in our new channel. I like. So we have our special guest, Eric Del Castillo. Okay, I mentioned that we need to balance the soft and the hard qualities of a leader, and so we are now thinking of the leader in the future. What do you think, Eric, will be those competencies and qualities that should be honed, that should be developed for the leaders in the new normal?
Okay, Jesse, just a brief background. When we had to implement the return to work in Nissan Philippines, we took note of three important objectives. First is employee safety, followed by infection control and business continuity. If you look at it, uh, we really had to prioritize employees' health, and that's why moving forward, moving into the better future or better normal, I think what we need for our leaders is being able to have a different kind of agility. Let's call it learning agility. Learn
Yes,
from what we have experienced. This is a phenomenon. Nobody knew in their lifetime how to deal with this kind of virus pandemic. Even the first world countries like US, Italy, uh, China, Korea, Japan, they are having a hard time. And so we are now here in this kind of situation, and so we should learn from our experience. So we need leaders who have this kind of agility, learning agility, so that they can apply whatever learnings they had here, they had before, and now we can apply for the future and try to make better, try to ensure that we will have a better future, so that we can avoid all these things and be able to
that
our
will be
employees
on the on
perform.
the on the what you're telling us now on the first count, which is the first. That will be difficult because you need to have a change of mindset. Because if
Yeah,
you have to be more mindful, and you need to hone your communication skill to be an influencer.
exactly. But paradigm shift, mindset change at this point may not be difficult to change because we are in a pandemic and people get to understand that they are really going through change. So it's easier to explain to our employees that we have to go through this. And as leaders, we have to be. You said mindfulness, and we have to really ensure that they understand this competency. We have to provide them with guidance. As me as a coach, a performance coach, then we will have to provide our leaders with those learning provisions, so that they would be able to really see through this
Okay.
pandemic.
And the second one, that's the first one, learning agility. The second one
Yeah,
is
learning agility. Well, aside from learning agility, I believe, Jesse, that they also have to be critical thinkers.
right.
I would say that right now we need people who are able to see through what's going on in the business, what's going on in the organization, and be able to come up with new things, with new creative things so that we can face the challenges. We need people who are able to think beyond the box, because we need people who are able to answer the call for changes. So we need critical thinkers, Jesse, and it's not easy to develop critical thinking. Yes,
Of
but
course.
yeah, it's very difficult to develop critical thinking. But I would say I'm unhappy here in Nissan that our leaders are able to learn quickly, and they're able to adjust to the changing times. And when we provide them with challenges, they're able to respond. And if you can just train them to meet the challenges, ask them more about options on how to deal with all these problems that we're facing right now, then you're able to get portions of their mind. And I would say that they're already leading towards that competency, which is what I'm saying, the critical thinking
Oh,
competency.
so the learning agility, the second one is critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
And you mentioned about a third, which you are
I'd
doing.
like I'd like to think that creativity is also important for our leaders. Um, Coronavirus is novel. We don't know how to deal with it. In fact, even now, we don't know who our enemy is. So, how are we dealing with this kind of challenge? Well, even when we provide health protocols, all these things, these are creative actions on the part of the government. These are creative initiatives on the part of the organization implementing these rules. So on the part of the business, how are we dealing with the current challenges, issues? And so if we can come up with creative things, in like for example in Nissan, we know that our customers won't be able to visit our dealerships, and how are
Yes.
we going to deal with that? So we had to implement a lot of virtual showrooms, a lot of virtual marketing initiatives like virtual showroom, and a lot of videos that our dealers are sharing on Facebook. These are creative ideas in order to meet the challenges of today, and these are also creative ideas that can help us move into the better normal. That's the future. So I believe that leaders, uh, radical leaders, must have this creative thinking competency as we face the better normal.
For your info, there are a lot of our friends who are watching us. Sarah Lee is watching us, and then I already invited her here. She was a guest, but Rhea Rosas Gadi is watching us. Be ready, Rhea. I will call you one of these days, and you will also be here in this show. Okay, a lot, a lot. We have somebody from Canada and from the city government of Palayan City. So wonderful people
Yeah, my
listening.
sister is from Canada.
Ah, she's the one watching us. I see, I see. And then a lot of people from Rare Gadi mentioned a lot of people watching us. Now you
Yes,
mentioned
thank you.
thank you for those qualities. I know you have a list. You have a list, but we'll just discuss the first three for the first three.
Yeah.
But let me ask you. We mentioned earlier about the balance. So aside from being digitally savvy or technology savvy. You mentioned about the balance of being soft. Can
Compassionate.
you compassionate? Can you expound more on that? Thinking of the
Okay, Jen.
new of the new leader of the radical leader.
Okay. I mentioned earlier that leaders, aside from the technical competencies of digital dexterity, learning agility, and all those things, we must have compassion. We must have respect, and these things. If you are a true business leader, aside from the money, the profit, aside from market share, aside from revenue, you have to think about employee safety too. And you can only think about employee safety if you believe about compassion, if you believe about respect, and if you look at the human needs. And I believe that these things are really important during these times, Jesse. It's not just the technical competencies that we should be uh, focusing on. We should also be focusing on this soft skills. So that's why here in Nissan we prioritize employee safety, and business continuity is just the third one. Although of course we have to take care of our business too. But
That,
what
that
we're saying is, if we have to face these challenges that we have right now, we really have to show our employees that they are our priority.
so that means, Eric, that there is a lot of things to do with the learning and development on how we are going to uh, upskill or skill the soft and the hard skills to our human resource and most especially to the leaders. So, what do you suggest that what intervention should be done now so that we can prepare our leaders to have those skills in the future if we haven't
Okay,
done?
yeah. First and foremost, Jesse, I believe that leadership, modeling the behavior of the things we want others to practice is very important. That is leading by example. So we may teach them compassion, we may teach them empathy, we may teach them respect. But what is important is really for leaders to really practice these behaviors. We really have to lead by example, and it's important that it will come from the president. The voice should come from the top, and that is what we're doing here in Nissan. Not just the Nissan Philippine president, but our global CEO is speaking about compassion, speaking about respect and empathy. And so more than the training that we conduct to our employees, I think really walk the talk is the strongest way of really developing our people.
Of course, because you are actually virtual and actually working remotely, so that it's so difficult to be felt. So you really have to manifest it so that people will will be believe and you are credible. I remember past President Pilar. I asked her, "Where are you now?" And she told me, "I have to be here in the office." Although, of course, to tell people that I am not scared, to tell people that the hospital, because he's with Cardinal Santos, that the hospital follows all the protocols and it is a safe place. So I have to be here. And that is actually leadership by example.
Example.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, what? Let's go into the intervention of mentoring. And I know you are with PMAP's LeadCom, and then the program is actually mentoring. So, what mentoring interventions do you suggest now?
Right now, yes, do have. I'm very active with the Leadership Development Committee. But in Nissan, we also have our High Potential Development Program. We call it
Yeah, please
Accelerate.
share, please
And
share, please.
yeah, we do have a mentoring program. Yes, we were not ready that all this will happen. And so we now have a regular session with them. We do have Kamustahan, ensure that each of our 11 mentees are properly mentored by their mentors. So we have tracking, we track their attendance, and we try to talk with the mentees and mentors too. Just recently, we had these kamustahan and conversations with them, and how are they going along. So me too, I always participate in their roundtable discussions, making sure that they are up and about their development programs. So here in Nissan, we're very strong in developing our future leaders. And as I said, our major intervention is really mentoring, and that's the heart of Accelerate. 50% of the 50% of the effort of Accelerate is dedicated in providing mentoring to our high potential leaders.
Yeah,
It's done
it's
virtually,
needed
yes.
now because yeah, it's needed now because usually you meet synchronous in Zoom or in Google Meet, and that is synchronous, and then you attend webinars, and then at this time, and then of course we have to input also the self-led trainings that you do. But this time, there is a need for an intervention coming from a mentor, and this is what you call asynchronous arrangement, wherein there is a need for. So you do that in Nissan, and you do that also in PMAP. That there is a need for
In Litaum,
asynchronous
yes.
intervention for honing people to be leaders in the future. So
Yes, that's right, Jesse.
this is more than kumustahan. So what are the you input skills development and what else? What do you still input in those mentoring interventions?
Well, aside from that, we have what we call checkpoint. Jesse, we do one-on-ones with the mentees. We do call them. We ensure that we have a chat group as well where we send them our reminders to send the reflection papers. They also have the reflection papers. And then I would remind them to be active on LinkedIn. Our mentees, we try to promote their reputation, of course, their we want to develop their thought leadership skills, and so we are providing them with all this communication. We were very strong in communicating with our mentees, either through chat, through Viber, through Messenger, through phone, or of course through virtual communications as a Zoom, Skype, or Teams. Yes.
Okay, Eric, are you telling me that there is nothing so much new to expect in the new normal? So, what is your idea of the brand new world?
Well, we would expect a lot, definitely, Jesse. We would not be living the same way we did before I would say, the old normal or the previous one. Because now we're more conscious about health protocols. We're more conscious about ensuring wellness, not just for ourselves, but for the organization, for our people, and of course for the nation. Uh, I think those things will be very, very prominent in the new normal or in the better normal. Being conscious with wellness, being conscious with health, ensure that protocols are there. And one very important thing, Jesse, in the better normal is to have a business continuity plan, which a lot of companies didn't have during this pandemic, and they were all surprised. How are we going to send our products? How are we going to manage our products? The supply chain has challenged very much. So I think in the better norm, we need to have a strong business continuity plan aside from all those health protocols and all those health and wellness programs. So it's very important that we ensure that the organization is well prepared for the future, because we will never know these things will happen again.
That my new normal is actually whenever I have a live stream, the delivery comes. So my new normal is my dogs are with me, and then my helper comes, and I have to hand the money because I forget something. And so that is the new normal when I do the live stream. So sorry for that if my dogs were barking. But you know, Eric, I would like to hear something new from you. So let me mention now, you have a daughter who is very much abreast with artificial intelligence. Are we expecting that in the new normal?
Well, it's happening now. A lot of technology around AI. Although I'm not a tech savvy myself, she has been sharing with me their technology. Just trying to log in into a system where you can actually update your health status, and that will provide the organization, the company, an update of whether you have signs or symptoms of COVID, and they can take care of you. These are all done through the use of applications, and these are technology that we would expect to be proliferating, not just now but in the future. So we expect more about artificial intelligence as we face the future, Jesse.
So what you're telling me now is that we don't expect actually a drastic change or something something that will wow us, that's something that is new, because everything is actually evolving now. As you mentioned, your daughter is actually telling us that there is already artificial intelligence. So for those who are actually pursuing something a scary new world, what you're telling us, Eric, is that it is evolving slowly because it's
Yes,
actually being done. Yeah, I agree with you because what will wow us about virtual? Wherein we are now in a live stream where we are virtual. You
yeah,
are there in BGC, I'm in Paranaque, and we're
yeah,
using StreamYard. So I
that's
think
right.
in the next 2 years, it still will be the same unless there will be something that you are flying and I'm also flying somewhere else. That means actually
Yes,
we are defying gravity, and that will be really wow us. But at this time, I think I agree with you. Such a wonderful insight. So because you were telling us that pre-COVID, Nissan is already prepared. Di ba,
yeah,
Eric? You have your
yes.
telling, and then
We have the
you're
work
telling
from home.
as a advice of your daughter that everything is already there. I am watching those Attorney Pios have been sending us what do you call this feeds in our group chat of robots doing things. There is even the Saudi Arabian prince who has a robot who is the bodyguard. So actually, it's already here. So
Exactly.
so what you're
Yes,
telling
yes,
us, I'm the one, so aligaga. And I'm actually expecting something that will really floor me. But you're telling us now that it's already here. The future is here. It so happened that COVID compelled us to use it. Am I right,
yes.
Eric?
Yes, that's right. Because the future of work, Jesse, will be more of work from home. In fact, in Nissan, we had recently conducted a survey amongst our over 3,000 employees in Asia, and we were already looking at how are we going to structure the future of work in Nissan. So we're preparing that it's not going to be the old normal. It's going to be really a new one where we will allow
Yeah,
more employees to work from home, and
but
that
what
a
you're
lot of
telling is
system has to
it's
be.
already happening now.
Yes,
Eric, what you're telling us is that it's already happening now. So that
yes, that's right.
the question of the when is now. Your new
It's
normal is
really
happening
happening.
now.
Yeah, that's right. It's happening now, and we just have to be more agile because in the future there will be a lot of changes. Still going to be a lot of changes in the future.
But the givens are already here. That is what you're
Yes,
telling us.
that's right. That's right.
Okay, okay. Let's have the second break, and then I'll still have a couple of questions for you before you give your parting message. Can I have the second break, please? I'll do my job fair portion after. Let's have Eric Del Castillo back because there is a question. Oh, Oh, I'm sorry. Before we have, I have to read this. The world premiere on August 29, a Saturday, on the Family Business with Nato Agbayan. So, if you have time, that's what's up. Can we have Eric again? Because there is a question here coming from Rhea Gadi. A crisis provides. Rhea, you will be one of the guests in the coming weeks. A crisis provides opportunities for high potential leaders to step up, lead, and inspire others. How have Nissan Philippines high potential leaders stepped up during the pandemic? Oh, nice question, Eric. Please answer that. How have Nissan high potential leaders stepped up during the pandemic?
Yes, thank you very much, Ria. I'm certified to DDI's interaction management, and our Accelerate mentees are very active during this pandemic. Just recently, we have a global employee survey that made Philippines one of the best, I would say, where employees had high satisfaction. However, there's still areas for improvement. And so, in coming up with action plans in order to address this, aside from asking our heads of division function to prepare action plans, we try to deploy through our accelerate mentees, meaning the high potentials. We ask them, what are your thoughts about improving employee satisfaction in Nissan Philippines? And they are the ones providing us guidance. For example, one issue is not having enough manpower. So when we did deploy that kind of question to our high potentials, they came up with really good suggestions such as full-time equivalent review of our headcount, things like that, and making sure that we have really qualified talents in the organization, that we should have strong recruitment policies. Imagine those things, which I myself wouldn't be able to come up if asked right away. So our high potentials are really trying to help us even during this pandemic because we need them. We need their valuable inputs, and that's what we do, Ria, for our high potentials during this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Such wonderful insights from our special guest. I remember it
Yeah.
was one of those. The first one about going back to where it all started. Let's all have our contribution to how we can actually improve or take care of the environment, and also that wonderful insight that the change is actually now and it's here. And actually, in Nissan, they're already preparing to institutionalize working from home. So next time that and then besides, telecommuting was already there in 2018. So
Yeah.
I like, Eric, you're so cool. That's the only thing that I can tell you now. A cool general manager. Last question before your parting word. Why is your position general manager of HR? I'm curious. Why?
Well, it's actually a nomenclature in Japanese companies that heads of divisions are usually called general managers. Ordinarily, they should be called, say, just managers or directors in other companies. So I would say that it's actually a unique Japanese culture that they call their division heads general managers. So even if you check with other Japanese companies, they would call their division heads general managers.
Yes, I have webinars with PMAP. I start with the new managers, that the HR leadership. This Saturday I have a webinar on HR supervisory. And what
Yeah,
you just told us is actually the difference between an HR supervisor or an HR supervisory with what you're doing, which is an HR general manager,
yeah,
because actually the full gamut of the talent management process is the one is your KRA. Then that one
yeah,
of the supervisory, it's actually you handle acquisition, you handle. So if you're interested, try to check on PMAP, because I have that program. And so that is what you're doing in Nissan is actually the right thing to do. The right
Yeah.
thing to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesse.
So Eric, can we have your time so fast? I even I have not asked you about your pets and or the things that you do personally. But next time, I will invite you. This will be a continuing seasons of HR Hotline, and you are a friend, and I'm very sure you will never say no to me. Just like
Yeah.
yeah. Eric, can we have your message, parting message before we say goodbye and thank you?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Jesse, for this honor of being part of your program. It's my pleasure to be part of your program. Yes, this pandemic is really something that never had in our lifetime, and it is something novel. Not even the best countries, the more advanced ones, are able to handle this. And as mentioned by Jesse, yes, we are now in the new normal, and hopefully we'll be able to hurdle this very, very soon and move to a better normal. And one thing very important is our contribution, our individual contribution, because change will not happen if change will not start from us. We know the indiscretion, the indiscriminate uh, use of resources. We must try to ensure that we take care of the environment. We take care of Mother Earth. We take care of the wild, because misuse of these resources could lead to devastating, if not really deadly, repercussion, not only to one country but to the whole world. So it's very important, Jesse, that we make our small step, as they say that a journey of 1,000 miles start actually with a single step. And the single step is us making change possible and making change not only in our country, but contribute to the world. Take care of Mother Earth. Thank you very much, Jesse.
Wonderful, wonderful. Actually, it's already a speech. Wonderful, Eric. You are really a gem of peanut. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, how do we fare? FARE, as mentioned by our guest. How do we fare? It is our discretion. It is our discretion. If you commit to for change, if you are passionate for change, it is our discretion to do it now. It's our contribution. And I love it. Let us first take care of Mother Earth and make sure that we contribute. And then I like what Rhea just mentioned in the comment box, that we have to do mentoring. She even mentioned about mentoring teachers, mentoring our helpers at this time. And that is a nice intervention. Okay, the job fair that we have here, FIR, uh, we still there are still companies looking for jobs. But you know, Miss Nine, I read in my feed about that one that happened to Sykes. Oh my God, that should not happen. The scam that they did, that four guys. No, 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 I don't like that. But again, let me have that slide we're in. If you're interested in applying to Wills Design and Associate, our sponsor here, you can just email to recruitment at wdain.com.ph. Also for Puzzleback. Puzzleback is actually in need of 24 staff for social community moderators. They need an HR officer. Apply ako dyan ha. Graphic artists, copywriters, and media buyers. How will they apply? They just log on to careers at puzzlebacks.inc.com. For those who are viewing us, you can send your vacancies here because we have a portion which is job fair, the last month. And because I'm trying to collect and collate vacancies, and then we can have a live job fair here. So going back to the conclusion, the new normal is actually starting now. You must have done your fear and your learning zone. You must be in your growth zone. And what do we expect? I agree with Eric. Not so much, because the future is already here. The fourth industrial revolution has already started. We are already in the cyber mode. The use of the internet, the use of artificial intelligence. It's here. It's how we can catch up with it. But most of all is how to balance it. Of course, we need lots of intervention, not lots of training, upgrading, upskilling, influencing our leaders that they must have the competencies for the new normal. But not least we forget the qualities of being human. Remember, it is still HR is human, but you have to add an E. It has to be humane to take care of our human resources. Thank you very much. This is Jesse Francis Rebustillo, Dios Mabalos,